Hey, heathens. Alright. Theory time. Start with a hypothesis. The hypothesis is that Christianity is the biggest con in the entire known world. My proof for that is, of course, all the people who believe in Christianity and the historical facts that we know. How did this occur? Here is my theory, supported by the facts that I know. Here's what we do know. There was a guy who was known as John the Baptist. He did exist. Now, we don't have any solid proof that a guy named Jesus of Nazareth, with the mother of Mary and Joseph, existed, but we do know that John the Baptist existed. Not entirely 100%, but enough that we could say he did. I have no problem saying that he did. Here's what old John was doing. John was gathering up people and saying that there would be a Messiah, the same Messiah that the Jewish people had been professing would come for a long time. This Messiah is prophesied in the Old Testament. John said that this Messiah would come within their lifetime. He knew this, and it was time to cleanse themselves, and so he started baptizing people, which meant that they would duck their heads underwater. I do it every time I go swimming. I don't feel any different, but hey, work for them. These are people who didn't take regular baths, by the way. So I'm sure they did feel better. John said that this Messiah would come within their lifetime. Now, was he talking about someone who would take them to heaven? No. He was talking about the new military leader who would retake Israel and give it back to the Jewish people. That's what John the Baptist was talking about. And we know that. As well as we can know it. That's what John the Baptist was talking about. We know this. So, round about the end of his career, along comes this guy who joins up into his little posse, who likes to be called, in the way we put him, Jesus. Jesus was a disciple of John. Now, Christians don't like to hear that because that means that Jesus was a follower and not a leader, and you can't have the God of everything being a follower. Now, can you? But he was. And if you take any of the story of John the Baptist to be true, you must take that to be true because that is part of the story, that Jesus was his disciple. Of course, they kind of edit that part out, but it's been exposed later on. John gets caught by the Roman government and is beheaded. Why was he beheaded? He was promoting a military leader that would overthrow Rome and retake that land. He was a rebel rouser. Damn right he's got to go. Off with his head. So they kill him. This creates a big problem because John said that the Messiah would come within his lifetime. Now he's dead, which means the Messiah had to have come. But he did. He had many disciples. Only one was smart enough to perk up and go, "It was me. I am the Messiah." And thus started the biggest con in mankind's history. The disciple of John, after his death, took over the cult that he had been running. Makes sense to you? Makes sense to me. or did it actually happen? This is all a prelude into what is about to be my biggest video series yet. It may not be the longest. The Flat Earth video series in 4 parts was probably the longest, outside of the Reading the Bible series that I'm doing, of course, Genesis. But as far as just content-wise, this is probably going to be one of my biggest. Books have been written on this subject, one of which has been suggested to me, and I'm going to get it if I can ever find it. I can't seem to find it anywhere. But when you look at where the books have been laid out in the Bible and where they come from, the way I use my deductive reasoning, Sherlock Holmes style, I have determined that Christianity is a big con, and it all started with one man, and it wasn't Jesus. It was that criminal, murderer, horrible person, self-admitted piece of crap, Saul, who you may know better as Paul. That's all to come. Digest on that, give me some responses, what you think of the idea that Jesus took over the cult that John the Baptist started.